My wife always said she'd do anything for me. I didn't realize how far she'd actually go. I've always been the idealistic one, while my wife is practical with spreadsheets and plans. But she also believes in me more than I've ever believed in myself. So when I finally quit my job to pursue my dream job full-time, she was all in. She told me not to worry, that we'd figure it out together. But the first year was rough as clients ghosted me and bills piled up. I pulled long days and tried to stay positive, but nothing seemed to work. Through all of it, she stayed weirdly calm, even as our bank account dwindled and kept promising we'd be okay. Then I started noticing things. She was coming home late, saying she was working overtime. One night, I saw her using a second phone that I didn't recognize. When I asked about it, she said it was from work. Obviously, my mind went to cheating, but she seemed as devoted to me as ever, so I tried to put it out of my mind. But then we started having more money. She paid off one of my credit cards without telling me. We suddenly had a fridge full of groceries, the pricey stuff like eggs and berries, and the name brand coffee creamer I'd scrapped months before. I wanted to believe that this was the overtime she was working paying off, and everything was above board. Until the night she came home with a black eye. She said she'd tripped on the slick subway stairs, but I saw the way she wouldn't look at me, and the way her hands shook when she took off her jacket. She went to bed early, and I went straight for her new second phone. There were messages from someone named Joel, who called her Red. Their messages were hard for me to understand, because half of them sounded like they were written in code, but I gathered that it was about picking up and dropping stuff off. He mentioned a few places I recognized from the seedier parts of downtown. The next morning, I confronted her and demanded the truth. At first, she denied everything, but when I showed her the messages, she sat down and didn't say anything for a long time. Then she looked at me and said, "You had a dream. I was just buying us time." She told me she never did anything dangerous, that she was just passing along messages and cash for people or driving packages from point A to B. They were paying her well, and all she had to do was not ask questions. She said it was easy money, but she knew I'd make her stop if I found out, and she couldn't stand to be the thing that got between me and my dream. I was horrified, terrified, and honored. She was putting herself in danger because she believed in me when no one else did. But I ignored the voice in my head telling me this was my shot and begged her to stop. If she was coming home with a black eye, it didn't matter how safe she thought she was. Clearly something could go wrong at any time. A few hours later, she handed me the second phone and said it was done, that she'd told them she was out for good. I asked her if there was going to be any backlash, and she just smiled and told me not to worry about it. I opened my firm last year, and for a while things were going well, but in the past few months, I've started struggling again to make ends meet. Yesterday, my wife came home with a bruise on her arm. She said it was nothing, but this morning, I found a new phone in the kitchen drawer. I don't think I can afford to stop her this time. We need the money, and I know she'd do anything for me.